You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. On Friday, we saw this sort of sequence of events with LSU and the transfer portal where we learned that Bernard Gooden from USF was visiting LSU, and then we learned that Dilan Battle was going into the transfer portal. And then over the weekend, we learned that Bernard Gooden committed to LSU via the portal. I have a lot of context I want to add here to this whole thing, as I believe the two are interwoven. But remember, this was Brian Kelly on the last media availability that he had during spring practice about what his team's portal approach was going to be in this portal window, which, by the way, closed on Friday.
I like our roster right now. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't have anybody in the portal, either leaving our program or adding. If you ask me right now, I would be happy to take this roster right into May. Maybe that's fool's gold. Maybe that's wishing more than anything else. But I like what we've done with this roster. I like the development of it. Not all of that is in my control, obviously. But I can tell you we're not like actively saying we got to have this, we got to have that. If something shows itself that is an incredible opportunity, we're certainly going to investigate any time that we can help our football team. And so we're always going to be looking to help our team.
Okay. So the question becomes, is Bernard Gooden a, quote, incredible opportunity? That's how Brian Kelly said it. If an incredible opportunity presents itself, we're going to look at it. So is Bernard Gooden an incredible opportunity? I'll get to that. Let's start with Battle on the way out, however. Dilan Battle is someone who we kind of talked about extensively here. Remember, Dilan Battle was a 3-star as a member of this class of 2025. He's from Arlington. Bo Davis got the LSU job. He had been recruiting Dilan Battle to the University of Texas, and ultimately gets him to sign with LSU. This was Brian Kelly on signing day talking about Dilan Battle out of the Arlington area.
Dilan Battle is another player for us that fulfilled the defensive tackle position, heavy-handed, physical inside. Bo Davis really liked his ability to disrupt at the defensive tackle position.
Okay. Bo Davis liked his ability to disrupt at the defensive tackle position. That Dilan Battle was a Bo Davis take. LSU wasn't in on him until they hired Bo Davis. Then they got Dilan Battle here. Dilan Battle comes. He's an early enrollee. The coach that got him here leaves. Remember Robert DeSanto, Dilan Battle's high school coach. We played this for you last week. Robert DeSanto was on this show when Dilan Battle committed and talked about the relationship with Bo Davis.
I think it speaks volumes to not only just Dilan's commitment to the Tigers, but Dilan's commitment to Bo, because as soon as Bo left Texas, he knocked on my door one day, and I said, I didn't realize Dilan was that high on LSU's board. And his exact words were, I don't know if he's high on their board. I really hadn't even been to the office yet, but he's high on my board. And he's a guy that I want no matter where I'm at. So I think that relationship that they have is definitely something that played favors.
So makes sense, right? We all get it. Dilan Battle was a Bo Davis take. Bo Davis is gone. You got numbers at defensive tackle. You got a new defensive line coach. You're bringing in another defensive tackle via the portal. Dilan Battle's out. Get it. You wish him well. But there are circumstances. It's the same. I say it all the time. You can be ticked at that kid for not sticking it out or being committed. What about the coach that got him here? The coach recruits him here. He signs, and a week later, he's off to the NFL. Don't be pissed at the kid if you're not going to be pissed at the coach. If it's okay for the coach to leave, it's okay for the kid to leave. And LSU is going to be fine. So that brings us to the Bernard Gooden part of this whole thing. So Bernard Gooden from USF started his career at Wake Forest for a couple of seasons, transfers to USF, plays only 2 games in 2023, transfer rules, and then plays in 2024, starts 11 games for the Bulls, and actually sort of made his hay as an interior pass rusher. His coach, Alex Golesh, at South Florida, had this to say about Bernard Gooden.
On the D-line, Bernard Gooden has really done some incredible things. Just, again, put on a bunch of weight, didn't play last year, has added a pass rush element to us.
Added a pass rush element. Okay, that's the key part of this. A year ago, into this past season in 2024, Bernard Gooden had 35 quarterback pressures. 35 quarterback pressures that led the AAC. He led the conference in quarterback pressures from the interior defensive line spot. You go look at his grades from Pro Football Focus. His overall grade was an 81.7. His run defense grade was an 87.2. And his pass rush grade was a 73.2. So this is a guy that you could look at the tackle number, which isn't massive, but he had 10 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, and 35 pressures, which led the conference. Okay? So I think that is very important to note. What you are getting here stylistically in this player. You are getting a defensive tackle that is an interior pass rusher. That is what Bernard Gooden did. Now listen, I'm not sitting here telling you something I know, okay? I'm going to be very candid. You want to know how many times I watched South Florida play football last year? Yeah, big fat 0. Never seen this kid take a snap of football. So I'm not telling you something I know. I'm piecing together what his coach said and conversations I had this weekend with folks over at LSU. They love the fact that this kid is a pressure machine. For example, I'll just give you a comparison. So Bernard Gooden had 35 pressures from his defensive tackle spot. Braden Swinson was LSU's best defensive end last year. He had 43 hurries. So you're talking about a guy that almost mirrored Braden Swinson's productivity from the interior defensive line, and it's very clear this is the difference between a Bo Davis defensive line and a Kyle Williams defensive line. Y'all, Bo Davis brought Sadir Mitchell here from Texas. He's 6'6", 355. Bo Davis recruited Zion Williams, 6'4", 355. Bo Davis wants gigantic space. We just talked about Vernon Broughton, who the Saints drafted. 6'4", 310. Like, Bo Davis wants gigantic defensive linemen. During spring, Blake Baker, LSU's defensive coordinator, when he met with reporters, he was asked about Kyle Williams and talked about the type of defensive tackles Kyle Williams wants.
You know, this defense, forever and ever, we talk about the defensive tackles at the tip of the spear, man, and we got to be able to create knockback and havoc. And I thought we got a little stale from that standpoint last year, and that's on me. But having him do it at a high level, and then he's very, very good at articulating it to the players. I think he's done an outstanding job. I think you're already seeing that. Some of our guys being able to use their quick twitch and their get off and create havoc in the backfield. It's helped us, and they're starting to see themselves make plays. Now they're wanting to do it more and more.
So it's very obvious. This is in the same way that Bo Davis came and told Brian Kelly, I want Dilan Battle. And BK said, okay, get him. Kyle Williams went, I want that guy. And so BK said, okay, let's go get him. And so they did. That's why Bernard Gooden is here. He fits what Kyle Williams wants stylistically. He is an interior pressure generator, and it's different than what you currently have at defensive tackle. Now, Don McKinley was awesome at that late in the year, and I think is going to be really good. But you have someone now stylistically who fits more what Kyle Williams wants. Your numbers are fine. It's one out, one in. And the one out was a freshman early enrollee. The one in is going to be a senior who started 11 games last year and led the AAC in interior pressures. Which guy was going to have a bigger impact on your team in 2025? Well, good if it's a 1-for-1. Long term, maybe Dilan Battle becomes a great player, and you'll be sorry to see him go. But in this 1 year, all-in year in 2025 for LSU, Bernard Gooden stands to have a bigger impact on your team. I like what they did. You've got Guillory and Gooden and Sadir Mitchell and Shone Washington. That's 4 veteran players. Bro and McKinley are rising sophomores. That's 6. And then the 3 freshmen with Zion Williams, Buddy Mathis, and Brown. That's 3 freshmen. Like, you have a good, versatile group now of numbers, of experience, and of skill levels and abilities, and skill sets and abilities. And you got a guy Kyle Williams won. So, love it. Bernard Gooden in, Dilan Battle out. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.